The other thing is this ridiculous thing of, let's ask the average person what they think. Let's stop asking the average person what they... Do you know how f***ing stupid the average person is? We still sell bottles of bleach with big labels on that say, do not drink, right? Let's take those labels off, right? For 2 years, and then have a referendum.
I like it. I like creating something. I don't know. I like exploring. I like seeing what I can do. I like doing things that I'm interested in. I think that's probably where it starts. Formally, like you like David Bowie, so you want to be a pop star, or you like David Beckham, so you want to be a footballer. Well, that's not creativity, is it? That's it as a job. I think we're all creative. I think we're born with it. I think, if anything, it's sort of beaten out of us. Because I think playing is being creative. I think you have to play. And kids are creative. They come up with stuff. Imaginary friends, building things. My mum told me once, right, when I used to sort of play Cowboys and Indians by myself, loser, also Native American, racist, 5-year-old Ricky, right? I used to play Cowboys and Native Americans down the bottom of the garden. And sometimes I'd work myself up into a frenzy so much that I'd run in, I'd scare myself, and I'd hide from these imaginary... So, yeah, creativity can tip over to being a bit mental at 5 and 6. So I think we always want to try stuff. I think it's part of intelligence, trying stuff out, seeing stuff, and then you do it more formally when you're aware of it. But I think you're right. I think it's playing, and I think a lot of it is seeing someone else's reaction, particularly with comedy. Like, I would say daft things to see what someone else would say back. And I didn't mind their reaction. I didn't mind whether they laughed or got angry or got confused. I'm still a bit like that. So I think I do it. It would make me laugh. If I say a joke and someone doesn't get it, that makes me laugh. I just want to see what happens. I just want to see what happens.
What was it? I introduced Snapchat to Grandad.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know what was going on. Because a number of times people say, can I take a selfie? And it's on video. And so what they've now got is 5 seconds of me grinning, like thinking it's a still, which is... And you did that, and I'm looking at it, and it does look like...
Yeah. And what happens now? Oh. I don't know what's going on. I've got a spot. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Good edit there. A big spot made its debut last night.
That was your +1.
Yeah, Ricky and his spot. I know. Oh, does that need a seat? How can I still be getting spots at 55? I didn't get spots as a teenager.
It's not coming out now.
It's stress, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Do you get stressed at things like that, though? The premiere of your film?
What? Going out in front of thousands of people in Leicester Square pretending to be a rock star? Yeah, I get a bit stressed.
What are you like with reading reviews of things and like that? Do you bother? Does it bother you?
I don't worry about it. I don't worry about whether people, like it or not. But I did at first, and the first review I ever read from The Office, so I just came into this game, I thought, I hope it does well. The first review, the headline was Summer Stinker. It was summer, and it said things like, Gervais sometimes fluffs his lines. Like I'd have left that in. And I thought, this is going well. Then someone else comes out with a 5-star review, and then it's you get on with it, and you're on to the next thing. No, it doesn't affect me now. Twitter's made me just realise that nothing matters. It's like most of the things you read on the internet is just like walking around reading every toilet wall in the world. Do you know what I mean? It's virtual.
That's an idea for a BBC Three show.
Yeah, Greg James with every toilet wall in the world. It's not bad, is it?
It's quite good, actually.
Yeah, get that on. It's just so as people say, like the Golden Globes, do you get nervous? Are you worried about what people think? You're worried about the backlash? And I'm not worried about any of those things. I'm not worried about whether people like the joke or not, whether people hate it, whether the press hate it. I'm worried about delivering the jokes correctly. Yeah. That's all I worry about. It's like taking a penalty. If you score, it doesn't matter what they think of your run-up or the... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You scored. So as long as I deliver the joke well, I don't care whether people hate it or gasp or get offended or anything. But you want to do a good job, and that's all you care about, the work.
What drives you to keep creating new things? Because
it's fun.
Okay.
It's
so
fun.
It's a fun thing.
I can't not think stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I'm in the position where if I think something and I like the idea of it, I can put that into motion. I can have an idea in the bath. I get ideas in the bath.
We see them.
The ideas I get in the bath. And I can call someone and say, I want to do this. This is my next thing. This is my next big thing. And they go, you in the bath? I go, yeah. No. I can't not do it. When I finish a job, I go, I'm exhausted. I'm glad that's over. I get half a day's thinking, and I have an idea. As soon as you relax, you get an idea for your next thing.
Yeah.
I go for a jog and I come up with one joke or an idea. And you never know what it is when it's in your head. It could be a stand-up piece. You could put it in a narrative piece, But it's just fun having ideas and then making them. That's why I do it. Also, the money's mental.
The American president throwing his weight around in this way, threatening to sue a public service broadcaster in this country for the amount that he's threatening to sue it for, I think is disgraceful.
We're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them.
Does the president feel that the network is taking this situation seriously? Does he believe that they've shown sufficient regret? Does this strain the relationship between the president and the prime minister? And given that the organisation is publicly funded, is the president prepared to bankrupt the BBC in his pursuit of truth and justice?
Well, thank you, Bev. There's a lot of questions in one there. I will say I know the president has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Starmer. However, he has always been very frank when he disagrees with leaders, even whom he has a good relationship with. And the BBC, being a fair news organization, is definitely an outlet. I think these two leaders would disagree. The president has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately subsidized by British taxpayers, and he thinks that's extremely unfortunate for the great people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. And I think that the president was deeply concerned by the editing, the purposeful and dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news, and he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago, and this is a classic example of that. We see it in the United States all the time. We see it now in the United Kingdom. As you know, the president's external legal counsel has filed a lawsuit against the BBC. We expect that to continue, and whether they apologize or not is up to them.
I think the BBC is in deep trouble here now, especially with this latest revelation. And the problem here is that the bias that's been identified is endemic. I've been monitoring BBC output for 26 years to check for bias in various areas, such as Brexit. And nothing that has happened over the past few days, or the past couple of weeks, surprises me at all. The BBC never once looked at my very careful, very deep dive analyses of the bias. And the trouble is that they're their own judge and jury in this respect. They mark their own homework. And the evidence is that very few of the complaints that ever get to the BBC are ever really upheld. So we've got a situation where the BBC is stonewalling in terms of what's happened and has been doing for years and years and years. And what we have now is the situation where and I obviously can't speak in any way for what the president's legal action is likely to do or the effect it's likely to have. But the point is, they're on the hook, and they're not. Their apology is mealy-mouthed and incomplete.
And I think he has every right to be. I mean, keep in mind that, number one, this would have, if the Telegraph and the whistleblower hadn't stepped up here, and if GB News and other folks hadn't made such an issue of this, then the BBC never would have corrected it. And the fact is, they're not mad because they did it. They're mad because they got caught. And by the way, when you have your head of news, you have the head of the network step down over this, that's basically an open admission that you know that you did something really, really wrong here. But as we've seen, President Trump has already taken it to a number of different media outlets who have defamed him or have intentionally gone and edited things in a way to make it look like he said something that he didn't. And by the way, President Trump has won over and over and over. I think the BBC is in real trouble. And keep in mind, this isn't even getting to the fact whether you have the license fees that folks in the UK are then paying to the BBC to then go and defame people like President Trump. And keep in mind what the whistleblower also found, the things, whether it be the anti-Israel bias, whether it be the trans issues that they've been covering up or misreporting. So I think the BBC has a real reckoning coming for them.
And that, I think, is what is so gives the people like me who have massive questions about how the BBC portrays the news to the world. What gives us a sense of relief is that somebody has finally shaken their cage. And it doesn't matter whether it's there'll be people watching this who maybe feel a bit ambivalent about President Trump. He's a very divisive figure. But maybe they're furious about how the BBC handles climate change as a fait accompli. It's man-made and you're all going to die and we've got to change the way we live. Or maybe it's about Brexit and how sniffy the BBC is about Brexit. Or maybe it's about illegal migration and how the BBC always portrays illegal migration as something generous that we have to do. Whatever it is, Donald Trump has swung in here like a saviour to all of those people who want to see justice. Who'd have thought that would be the case?
Never would have thought it. As someone who's spent quite a bit of time in the UK over the years, I know how frustrated people are about what they've seen the BBC doing, and the fact that people have to pay for the BBC to then go and misreport and come up with, as Caroline Levitt and others have said, fake news over and over. And so it's really remarkable that President Trump has brought about this culture change. But as I saw with your great interview with FCC Chairman Brendan Carr earlier, this is the sea change that we're seeing here in the United States. As we saw, even whether it be ABC and Disney, and President Trump completely turn around the way that business had been done here with the media, censoring certain groups or putting intentionally misleading news. It's a sea change. So it goes to show you one election can make a difference. I know it's a little more difficult when it comes to the BBC and Ofcom in the UK, but we have to get the process started.
But first of all, the principle of the American president throwing his weight around in this way, threatening to sue a public service broadcaster in this country for the amount that he's threatening to sue it for, I think is disgraceful. I think it could have a very serious chilling effect on free speech. We're constantly told that people on the right, not everyone, are absolutely glued to the principle of free speech. And if people think that the American president, the leader of the most powerful democracy in the world, is going to sue people, then I think that has a fundamental issue for free speech. On the substance of the BBC mistake, and it certainly was a mistake that they have apologised for, and I think rightly so, I do not believe, and I worked at the BBC for 8.5 years, almost entirely in news, I do not believe that it was malicious. The BBC have said themselves it was not malicious, and as we understand it, libel law in America, defamation law in America, you have to prove malice, or malice has to be a part of it. Now, what does malice mean in this context? Malice would mean that the BBC, in this case an independent production company because they produced the Panorama, was sitting there thinking, how can we defame Trump? How can we, to use the word you used earlier, and I don't think it's the right word, doctor this footage to make Trump look bad? I don't believe that's what they did. I think they made an editorial misjudgment. And unfortunately, where you have human beings, and the BBC is staffed by thousands of human beings, sometimes, and you've worked in broadcasting, both of you, for years, as have I, sometimes you make mistakes. And when you make mistakes, particularly if you're the BBC, where there absolutely should be impartiality and accuracy, you apologise, and that's what they've done. The idea you pay money for it is absurd.
Welcome to BBC Verify. Like you said, we are a team of investigative journalists here at the BBC. We are also a new brand, and we are a physical location above the newsroom in London. And the point of the team, as you said, is to verify video, to fact check, to counter disinformation, and to analyse really complex stories so we can get to the truth of what's going on. Why does this matter? Well, mistruths can cause really serious harm to society and to the people in them. And so we want to show you our workings and really help you understand how we get to the bottom of what's happening. And then there's also investigating other mistruths and the real world harm they can cause. At the moment, I'm investigating the UK's conspiracy theory movement. I'm trying to understand more about how it's evolved and intensified since the pandemic here in the UK. I'm looking at the alternative media that finds itself at the heart of this movement, and a conspiracy theory newspaper that's a part of that as well. I'm looking at the way that alternative media is funded. I'm looking at its impact on local communities. I'm looking at its connections with far-right figures, and also its foreign links. That's for a podcast series that will be coming out in June. It's called Mariana in Conspiracy Land.
And what other... Yeah, how can an organisation be so pompous, so self-satisfied? They said, well, you know, we'll check our own facts, thank you very much. Well, that's great. They're always going, BBC reporters always go, according to BBC Verify, you know, as if that is, you know, the holy grail. That must be, oh well, if BBC Verify have confirmed it, it must be true. This is the department that mixed up acres with hectares and therefore got some agricultural information wrong. You know, it's always getting things wrong. It's the worst thing that the BBC has ever done. It's an absolutely pompous, useless, pointless waste of time, and they're in trouble again. They're in trouble again. This time it's serious, very serious. Stephen, let's... Well, look, we're talking about Panorama. Back in 2021, when Donald Trump claimed he'd been robbed of the presidency, should have won the election against Biden. There was that insurrectionist march by the mob onto Capitol Hill. We all remember that. And the Panorama show, in a programme they put out last month, they made it look, they made it look as if he made a speech that actually urged the public to launch that march on Capitol Hill. Well, he didn't.
It's taken out of context. Like, often I see a complaint, oh, he said this and that. I go, yeah, but you haven't done the first minute when I explain what I'm going to do, and then that minute after that where I undermine it all. So you can't worry about that, because I think it's willful. Now, some people are stupid and don't get it when you talk about taboo subjects, or, you know, they don't get it. But some people do get it, and they pretend not to. They willfully do a horrible headline because it's clickbait, and people don't read the article. Even if they explain the joke in the article, which they shouldn't fucking do, don't fucking print jokes. Why do people think it's okay to print jokes? You know, you wouldn't do a review of The Sixth Sense and say Bruce Willis was brilliant as the ghost. What about fucking spoiler alert, dude? It's not fair, is it? It's not fair. So, apart from all that, and I never complain about the audiences. The audiences are great. I play to 800,000 people on Humanity. Not one, everyone laughing all the time. As soon as it goes on Netflix, and then a little bit goes on YouTube, someone go, "Oh, this is not on." You weren't there, mate. You don't know. You weren't there. You're not a fan. I give a fuck about your opinion.
This all started with the Panorama edit. I've just got this in. This is just breaking news, Emma, which relates to this story. We're just hearing that the BBC has apologised to Donald Trump over the editing of a speech which appeared on Panorama in 2024, adding it was an error of judgment and the programme will not be broadcast again in this form on any BBC platforms. So that's the BBC apologising directly to the President of the United States over the editing of a speech that appeared on Panorama in 2024. But Emma, by the sounds of it, there might be another apology to make.
Yeah, so that was the one that's caused such a furore over the last week or so that resulted on Sunday night in the Director General of the BBC, the big boss, Tim Davie, resigning. Also, the Chief Executive of BBC News, Deborah Turness, both of those leaving their roles. Then the BBC Chair apologising for what he called an error of judgment. So this really has been the focus of enormous attention. Now we're talking about this Newsnight programme. And what's really interesting about it, according to the Telegraph, who've broken this story, a live guest straight after that speech was played out on Newsnight pointed out that it had been cut incorrectly, changing the meaning. And according to the Telegraph, nothing was done on air to say apologise or to address that.
Yeah, to alert people that it had happened.
Yeah, and then the next morning in an editorial meeting, it said that it was discussed there, concerns were raised, nothing was done then. There has been a response from the BBC, a BBC spokesperson saying the BBC holds itself to the highest editorial standards. This matter has been brought to our attention and we are now looking into this. It's really important, just quickly, to say that the timing here is absolutely crucial because a lawyer for Donald Trump threatened to sue the BBC for a whopping $1 billion, saying they needed an apology. Well, we got that now, haven't we? And a retraction. It's not been played again with false, defamatory, disparaging and inflammatory statements. And the deadline was Friday,
Tomorrow.
10 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that apology has come in. Emma, for the moment, thank you. Just to reiterate that breaking news, the BBC has apologised to Donald Trump over the editing of a speech which appeared on a Panorama programme back in 2024. The organisation saying it was an error of judgment and the programme will not be broadcast again in this form on any BBC platforms.
The revelation which I dealt with the other night on the show, that the BBC had deliberately falsified a speech by Donald Trump on the so-called insurrection on January 6th. By the way, when you call it a so-called insurrection, you still get completely repressed on social media. I had 7 million views on my Facebook page in the last 7 days. But the one video that got hardly any views at all was the one that described January 6th in the terms I just have. But anyway, Trump is now suing the BBC for $1 billion. I mean, you need a heart of stone not to laugh. You know, Kissinger once said about the Iran-Iraq war, it's a pity both sides can't lose. That's what most of us feel about a battle between Donald Trump and the BBC, each as venal as the other. In this case, because I hate the BBC so much and because I have so much bitter experience of them, I kind of hope he gets his billion and that the BBC goes bankrupt. Defund the BBC is definitely my viewpoint.
But you see, in Keir Starmer's Britain, if he put something intemperate on Facebook after a couple of glasses of wine, he would have gone to prison. And that's the mess we're in.
Have been committed for sentence, having pleaded guilty to an offence of publishing written material which is threatening, abusive or insulting, intending thereby to stir up racial hatred. The context of your offending is that it arises out of the civil unrest and disorder in many parts of the United Kingdom. As is recognised on your behalf, this offence is so serious that an immediate custodial sentence is unavoidable. Would you stand, please? The sentence that I pass has been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your guilty plea. The sentence is one of 20 months imprisonment. You will serve up to 1/2 of your sentence in custody before you are released on licence. If you fail to abide by the conditions of your licence, you can be returned to prison to serve some or all of the remainder of the custodial term. The victim surcharge will apply and I will make a collection order. Please take him down.
Do you think society could survive if everyone was kind, generous and thoughtful? Or do we need ruthless bastards to drive industry and make the difficult decisions? I don't know. I don't think you have to not be kind and generous and thoughtful to make difficult decisions, do you? You know, it's kind to decide to have your pet put down. That's kind. It's a terrible decision, but it's kind. It's a kind decision. So I don't think those two are in conflict. But I know exactly what you mean. I think naturally we probably are kind and generous and nurturing, but we developed our intelligence sort of relied a bit on violence because we didn't have the tools, did we, to defend ourselves. So we had to come up with cunning, evil fucking ways to catch stuff and eat it. So, but I think naturally we probably are generous and nurturing too, you know. We had to be really kind and generous and nurturing because we didn't have the tools and we had to look after our young in a scary place. But
so there I was in Barnsley campaigning in a general election, and a lout opposite side of a street gets a cup, fills it with cement, lobs it at the bus that I'm on, and you can see the picture here of me ducking and me shouting to everybody else, get down. It was a very dangerous, provocative, violent thing for this guy to do. Luckily, some builders who were working on the site stopped him, apprehended him. He was arrested. Today, he's been given a suspended prison sentence. He will not serve any custodial time at all. But you see, in Keir Starmer's Britain, if he put something in tempera on Facebook after a couple of glasses of wine, he would have gone to prison. And that's the mess we're in. Can you believe in the year to March, 147,000 people guilty of carrying knives, some of sexual offences, have been given community orders, which means they don't get criminal sentences. Our prisons are full. We're letting people out who are violent offenders to put Facebook offenders, thought speech, some of it not very nice, I'll accept, and to chuck them in prison for a short period of time. Law and order, crime is out of control. We're even allowing people to go shoplifting up to 200 quid without being prosecuted. You simply couldn't make it up. And I've got a feeling that all of you out there, regardless what age you are increasingly concerned going out of an evening, walking around our streets, catching public transport. We have to build more prisons. We have to make those that are violent. We have to make those that threaten our society pay some kind of price. Without deterrence, this can only get worse.
I don't know about politics. I think politicians have proved that it's nothing to do with doing what's right for most people now. Even if they start off going into it with good intentions, all the compromises, all the worries about trying to please everyone, they soon start, you know, not doing a great job. And now a lot of them have proved that they're blatant. They're in it for themselves. So I don't know. I think the utopia you're talking about probably is possible, but yeah, I think there's always a few bad eggs, isn't there? Genius, Rick. What do you think about the world? There's always a few bad eggs, isn't there? Brilliant. My heart wasn't in that, was it?
I've had a bath. I'm just here, chilling with that little dude. This is sort of up in the loft. It's like, but it's the hottest place in the house. No air conditioning, sun roof, and it gets scalding. And she's by a radiator. But that's not on. Ollie, say hello. Say hello to these face bonkers. Look. Isn't she beautiful? Look at that. Any questions for Ollie? Oh, I've disturbed her. Oh, Ollie. Oh. Oh. Oh, Ollie. Oh, you little tired little thing. Oh. I've got nothing to say, have I? Ollie, shall I pick you up? Oh, shut up. Say hello. Say hello. Ollie, look. Oh, God. I know. I know. I know. Oh, God. Go downstairs then. Go on. Ollie, go downstairs. This is just like the Kardashians, isn't it? Look, oh, look at that fang. Look at that fang. Oh, Ollie, don't show him that. Yeah. Go on, scratch the carpet. That wasn't expensive. Go on. I mean, seriously, is this at all interesting? Just a bloke with his cat. Ollie, what do you think? You're like Bieber. Aren't you? Like an internet sensation. Throw him the phone. Oh, Ollie. Well, that's just an example of some of the great material. Come on, Ollie, let's go downstairs. Daddy wants some wine. Come on. Oh, look at the hair. Look at that hair everywhere. I'll tell you, I put on a clean black T-shirt every day. You know that. And I get to the door and it's just covered in this. Why does she molt? I'll tell you why she molts. Because she tries to get so hot. Shut up. All day she's just trying to get hotter and hotter. And that's why your hair falls out, Ollie. And my hair's falling out because I'm old. Oh, Ollie, you're boring them now. They're going. Any questions? They used to... Anthony says meow. Sir Ollie of Gervington from Kevin Cody. Wow. Do you think it's wise to give wine to a cat? I've never given you wine, have I, Ollie? You wine, don't you? Look at that beautiful... Oh, you're bored. Covered in hair and she's bored. Say goodbye to all the face bonkers. Next time we'll let you... Oh, look! Oh, shut up. Go on. Here she goes. She thinks she fucking owns the place. Go on. Oh, let's show him your bed. Go to your bed. The bed you had when you were a little baby. Look, down there. Oh, look.
Now she's working it. Now she's working it. Go on. Go on, girl. Oh. Look. Keeping up with the Kardashians. Good enough. Say bye-bye, Ollie. Say goodbye. Oh, Belly, shut up. Belly, Belly, Belly. Yeah. Fine. Say goodbye. Come on. Oh, clumsy. Look at her. Oh. Go on. Go downstairs then. Let's go and have a drink. That'll do, innit? Bye. It always comes back to that principle for me. All politics starts with that. Every discussion, offence, you know, right and wrong, everything, fundamental human rights. So I think I can, and there's so much misunderstanding that it's like you think that you can't be too, you can't make any quantum leaps when you talk about that, because there's such a fundamental misunderstanding about what free speech is with the general public. It should be taught in schools what free speech is.
Those who are feeling the pinch might wonder, you earn £167,000 per year. If you need help buying your wardrobe, why shouldn't pensioners on £13,000 a year get help with their heating bills?
Well, let me tell you what I'm focused on. I was elected into government with a strong majority and mandate to bring that change. And the change that I promised, that I'll be judged on, is whether living standards have improved and people feel better off. Whether our economy is growing in all parts of Scotland, all parts of the country, United Kingdom.
And there's an election in 18 months in Scotland.
Energy up and running to develop the jobs of the future.
Will people in Scotland actually feel that their lives have gotten better within 18 months, which is when Anna Sarwar wants to be First Minister?
We've already started taking the first steps. We're getting investment in. Great British Energy already up and running and making decisions.
Has George got new glasses? Well, I think the prize goes to Steve, who spotted my new glasses. And I should just like to make perfectly plain that Lord Ali had no part in the purchasing of these new glasses, which are, and my wife and I were just discussing this, I mean, this is kind of top of the range. These are Gucci glasses. They cost £200. But Keir Starmer's glasses cost £10,000. Admittedly, it was Lord Ali that was paying for them. But Gayatri asked me, how can glasses cost £10,000 if your Gucci glasses cost £200? What are Starmer's made of? Diamonds? Are there diamonds on the legs, if that's what you call them, of his spectacles, arms of his spectacles? Is he seeing through rose colour? How is it possible for your glasses to cost £10,000?
Well, there's three things that I can talk
really confidently about and take on all comers that I know about, that I could probably. I reckon I could do a good 10 minutes on these without even practicing, and that's not comedy. I'll talk about what I know, which is opinion, of course, and it's subjective. But I talk about what I know and what principles of comedy and examples. I could do comedy, obviously. Free speech. I seem to have studied that inadvertently for like. It always comes back to that principle for me. All politics starts with that. Every discussion, offence, right and wrong, everything, fundamental human rights. So I think I can, and there's so much misunderstanding that it's like you think that you can't make any quantum leaps when you talk about that, because there's such a fundamental misunderstanding about what free speech is with the general public. It should be taught in schools what free speech is. Comedy, free speech, and animal welfare. And I can go off on millions of tangents with animal welfare because that is complex. So I think the best thing, probably the first two, if I wanted to be funny as well. It's typical to be funny with animal welfare.
Not one member of the Labour Friends of Israel has resigned as a result of the issuing of these arrest warrants. Imagine that. Not one.
Well, speaking of Labour, Burnsie says, well, let's see what Keith Starmer says now, because as we have seen, he does the opposite of everything he says. Yes, we said so. And Ravindra Bhatia says, for the younger ones amongst us, look up quisling in the dictionary if you want to get a different angle on Keir Sabotage Starmer. Quisling? Who is
Quisling was the Nazi
treasurer.
Collaborator in Norway, and he gave his name to such people forever after.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know what this means to an American. This might as well not be on, might it? Because it's like, I'm just sitting here talking bollocks. It's getting pretty existential now, isn't it? You'll miss me when I'm gone. I want clips of this shown. Again, when I die, I don't want creator of David Brent and Afterlife, clips from that. I want clips from this. Oh dear. I suppose you've got to do everything you can to make yourself feel good, or the things you like. Watch a box set. Watch The Sopranos from the beginning. Watch comedy. Watch Curb Enthusiasm. Watch things you like. Be creative. Write about it. Moan about it. Write a blog. Moan about it. Get things off your chest. Write things about someone really annoying in the next bed. Make yourself laugh. Sometimes, right, if someone's annoying me, if I think of something about them, right, like fucking hell, is eating like a fat frog, right? And then I feel sorry for them because I think, oh, that poor bloke, he doesn't know that I'm calling him a fat frog. And then I feel sorry for him, and it makes me feel better. So, you look forward to better days and keep yourself active. Creativity. Play chess. Try and get good at something if you can. Take care of yourself. Just care about yourself. Get yourself feeling better. Whatever. Think what will make you feel better. Do that. That's probably terrible advice. Doctors saying, no, don't say that to people. Some of them are in it because they did stupid things. Some of them are in it because they used to like jumping off bridges and onto cars. Don't tell them to do what they like. But I must just say, any advice I give, don't say, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an anything. I'm not a politician. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. So, right. Oh, thanks everyone. Stay safe. Be nice to animals. Have a good week. Tatty bye, everyone. Tatty bye. How are you? Doing okay?
I'm personally in favour of doing to farmers who want to go on the streets, we can do to them what Margaret Thatcher did to the miners.
So just to be clear, John, you would, beat them up?
No, this industry we could do without.
So, okay, all right, so this got weird. So you would do to farmers what Margaret Thatcher did to miners, which was, she used very heavy-handed police tactics, followed by what? Putting them out of business.
If people are so upset that they want to go on the streets and spray slurry on them, then we don't need the small farmers.
Right. Okay, John, I'm not sure that's a position. You were, just to clarify, you were a former Labour special advisor, possibly emphasis on the word former there.
Okay. Right.
So why are you here, Mr. Clarkson?
Well, because I'm here to support farmers.
Right. Are you angry?
It's difficult to be angry on somebody else's behalf. That's like being... Yes, no, I'm not angry on someone else's behalf.
Right. So it's not about you. It's not about your farm and the fact that you bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax.
Classic BBC there. Classic. Oh, yeah. It's not the fact that I bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax. The fact.
You told the Sunday Times in 2021 that's why you bought it.
These people.
Sorry?
BBC.
Oh, God.
OK, let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
I wanted a shoot, OK? That's even worse to the BBC. I wanted a shoot, which comes with the benefit of not having to pay inheritance tax. Now I do. But people like me will simply put it in a trust. And so long as I live for 7 years, that's fine. And as my daughter said, you will live for 7 years. You might be in a deep freeze at the end of it, but you will live for 7 years. But it's incredibly time-consuming to have to do that. And why should all these people have to do that? Why should they?
There should be a rule, I guess.
So one of the reasons Rachel Reeves says she brought this in is to stop wealthy people using it as a way.
No, that was the only reason she did.
Well, no, the other reason was to raise money for public services. Well, have you seen...
Are you listening to this?
Have you tried to get a GP appointment lately?
Yes,
Right.
I just recently had a heart attack.
Okay, so you know it's tough.
Yes.
So where should they get the money from if it's not from farmers?
From farmers.
With
you hear that, everyone?
With
BBC
assets.
thinks you should be paying for everything.
And I want to... Oh, you know what I want to say. I want to say, you selfish... Oh, God. I'll start carrying the stick again. Just switching it out. Dark glasses and a white stick, just like that. Wow. Then they get out of the fucking way. Oh. Anyway.
Okay, do you know how many people pay inheritance tax in this country?
It's 4% of estates.
What?
4% of estates.
4% pay inheritance tax. 96% of the population of the UK does not pay inheritance tax.
Sure.
After this becomes law, 96% of farmers will.
Where have you got that figure from?
Who here, can I just ask, who here is going to be unaffected by these changes? No one.
But, I don't know what to do, really. I'm not the police. I can't. You can say, excuse me, or so. But people are going to start losing their temper. I mean, that's what road rage is, isn't it? Road rage starts with someone being unreasonable or doing something they shouldn't, and the other person loses their temper. It's not two reasonable people and suddenly one of them goes mental. It's someone doing something they shouldn't, cutting in front or not indicating, or, the same as this.
Right. Where have you got the 96% figure
Well,
from?
you've got 96%. Well, the same place that Rachel Reeves does, from the middle of her head.
Right.
From the Sixth Form Debating Society that she was no doubt a member of.
Okay.
Which formed her opinions and yours.
I am not expressing opinions.
Are you
I'm
sure?
literally asking you questions. You know that, Mr. Clarkson.
Right.
So, what is your message to this government?
Please back down. Please.
And get the money from where?
Well, they've got 40 billion. I'll tell you where you get the... Walk into any of the offices around here. If you don't understand what somebody's job is, fire them.
And how
The civil service... Civil service is too top, you know that. I must get on.
Where's that guy? And the tractor's going. Well done, guys. Keep going, keep going.
Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't have a knob for hair. Right, cheers guys. See you tomorrow.
Probably not public information yet, but who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
Yes,
right?
without a doubt, you are invited.
That is so generous of you. Cheers to that.
See you at the White House.
It wasn't the only epic movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So...
Sean Diddy Combs was stoic as the judge handed down his 50-month sentence. That's more than 4 years. Now, Sean Combs, from my observation sitting inside that courtroom, did not have much of a reaction as his fate was handed down to him. It was actually moments before that he got emotional, crying when he spoke to the judge, which was the first time that he had addressed the court at length throughout his entire 2-month trial. Now, he faced his children and he said, "I am sorry, I have failed you as a father." He then looked at his mother sitting in the gallery of the courtroom and said, "You raised me better than this." And that is when his voice was cracking and when he began to cry. But here's what the judge said when he scolded Combs. He said, quote, "History of good work cannot wash away this case." He said that he used his abuse to get your way. He asked Combs, why did the abuse continue for so long, that being the abuse against Cassie and Jane? And he said, quote, "Because you had the power and resources to keep it going and you didn't get caught."
Talking of all you parents, it was a big year. It was a big year for movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
We're hearing from our affiliates who were inside that courtroom that Sean Diddy Combs put his hands together in a prayer motion, looked at the jury and said, thank you, before falling to his knees. His family were in the courtroom. There was applause, cheering as well as his mother left the court. She blew kisses to supporters that have been waiting outside. Now, as you mentioned, the verdict is in and it is split on that most serious charge, 1 count of racketeering and conspiracy. He was found not guilty. That was the charge that would have carried life in prison. He was found not guilty of sex trafficking and also of those 2 counts, but he was found guilty on those 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, those charges do still carry 10 years, a maximum of 10 years behind bars, so he could still be facing up to 20 years in prison. Now, even with that guilty verdict, this is a legal victory for Sean Diddy Combs. He has been acquitted of the most serious charges against him. His defence had argued that, yes, there was domestic violence, yes, there was drug use, alcohol use, but that he should not be judged for his sexual preferences, that it was all consensual. Now, the star witness in this case was Cassie Ventura, his former girlfriend. Her lawyer spoke briefly outside the courtroom.
The reaction is that we're pleased that he's finally been held responsible for 2 federal crimes, something that he's never faced in his life. We're hopeful that ultimately he receives a substantial sentence for what he's done, and we're pleased that Cassie's brought to light everything that has happened in this trial.
So as mentioned, he is still facing up to 20 years in prison. A judge will hand down that sentence. A date has not been set yet. Sean Diddy Combs remains in custody at the moment. But look, he could walk out in a matter of hours. There is a bail hearing set for later today, and we'll bring you those updates when we have them.
I mean, Kevin Hart was fired from the Oscars because of some offensive tweets. Hello? Lucky for me, the Hollywood foreign press can barely speak English. And they've no idea what Twitter is, so I got offered this gig by fax.
The bad boy. Oh, he's bad boy now. Oh, sounding the bad boy. Here's your icon alert. It's called He's Bad Boy Now. Bad boy. Bad boy.
50 Cent's highly anticipated documentary about Sean Diddy Combs is officially here. And we hear from 2 jurors from the Diddy trial, some accusers who spoke out for the documentary, and 50 Cent got his hands on some footage that Diddy claims belongs to him.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. We're losing.
I reached out to Sean Combs' spokesperson, who tells me that the reason why that personal footage exists is because Sean Combs has been documenting his own life since he was 19 years old. They say that this footage was captured from a personal videographer hired by Sean Combs.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time. Because you'll see people saying that. I mean, he may feel a different way about pieces and bits of it, but he knows the truth.
His lawyers even sent a cease and desist letter to Netflix, which I have obtained. I reached out to Netflix and they referred me to a statement from the documentary's director who says, quote, "It came to us, we obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights."
Well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off, okay? 3 hours long.
Justin Timberlake, he's been in the news. I did a tweet, I don't know if you know, it sort of went viral and it even made the newspapers, that when he was arrested for drunk driving, I sent him a tweet saying, as a joke, this didn't happen. It happened that I sent him this tweet, but I didn't really send him any Dutch Barn vodka. I just went, did you get that bottle of Dutch Barn vodka I sent you? That's the joke. And it went mad. I did think of a joke. I wouldn't tweet it. It's a bit harsh. I could do this to the Golden Globes.
Right, this is it. It's a stupid joke. It's a pun. The joke was, if Justin Timberlake goes to prison, he's going to hear the words sexy back a lot more often. Oh, there you go.
There's a lot of new information. No one had ever really put it together like that before.
For 50 Cent, he says he feels a sense of obligation.
Well, you know, if I didn't say anything, you could assume that all of hip hop culture is comfortable with his actions.
You're also going to hear from Aubrey O'Day. She was in the girl band Danity Kane as part of making the band. She has an explosive allegation against Combs. And then there's quite a bit that focuses on the murders of Biggie and Tupac, and people from Combs's inner circle raising a lot of questions. People are going to also have a lot to say about that.